Around Christmas, I was going to make a video about a film called Santa Jaws, which is just delightful. However, I got tied up with other things, so I wasn't able to do it. So I scoured into the depths of some streaming services and originally stumbled upon Nukem High, which is a trauma film, which is trauma's its own thing. But then I found it, the holy grail of all films. Those, of course, being shark films. Originally, these films bit into the fear that we as humans have of not just these sea creatures, but the ocean itself, a place where we know so much and so little at the same time. You can really get sucked into a rabbit hole of sea creature movies and just sea creatures you didn't know existed in the first place. This is a reason why films like Jaws were so successful and still impact us today. It scares everyone, not just out of the ocean, but water in general. Of course, over time, these movies have sunken into more and more parody and a lot of cheese. I mean, LL Cool J was taking on sharks back in 1999. It should be obvious what makes these films successful. The title. That's really everything they have going for them. Think of why you even clicked on this video. Was it the thumbnail? Was it because you like my channel, which I would much appreciate that? Or is it because you saw the title of what we are going to cover today, which is Sharks of the Corn?
Is that a corn cob? Or are you just happy to see me?
Now, I've never seen Children of the Corn, but I would just assume that this is the same exact plot, but just throw sharks in there. The whole point of this intro is to explain how I got to this film and how I slowly descended into madness and insanity, so there you go.
Shark?
The film got off to a pretty bad start when I saw the production companies that I've never heard of. We set the scene with some aerials establishing our location. By the way, if you like drone shots, get used to them, you're going to see them all over this film. So about 45 seconds in, this is when I wrote in my notes, concern. And now we're at a carnival where we see clowns and corn and ducks and corn because corn. Now, Sharks of the Corn does not take the easy route in telling a story. Like, they don't just follow a linear, hey, we have a group of 5 people and we're going to follow them the whole time. There's like 5 different stories going on in this film that have their own thing. They end up merging by the end. It's like watching Stranger Things, when you see like all the characters split off and then they come back at the end. It's like that, but not good. So we start off with this guy who's the corn-eating champ, and this lady is definitely taken and really wants to be with this guy, because, I mean, come on, who doesn't want to be with the corn-eating champ?
And I figured I could eat my weight in corn, and by God, I'm going to do so.
They decide to play some naughty hide-and-seek.
Oh yeah, baby. I think there's a monster in here now.
This fooling around leads to a shark attack where she gets mauled. And of course a close-up of her breasts. Meanwhile, we see a shark shrine and this guy who's really just enjoying himself. He puts on a shark mask which summons the power of the shark and shows us that he has murdered several people with Jaws' jaw. Get it? Jaws' jaw, because it's a jaw, but okay. Which really does seem like an inefficient way to kill someone, but hey, whatever, he gets the job done. And later on, he's going to explain how this connects to Stonehenge, because they show a ton of stock footage of that. But I'm not going to talk about it because it doesn't really affect much. So we see him leave his room and he goes and meets with this girl who does not seem fazed by him at all, which is, I mean, that's actually kind of understandable. This guy doesn't seem like a threat. Then she goes back to his room with him, and when she sees his shrine, she's actually not freaked out. She actually thinks it's pretty cool, which, I mean, really?
Dude, you must really be into sharks or something.
She also doesn't mind the multiple driver's license of people who are probably dead. Even though he seems into it, he's got bigger priorities and kills her with probably the best effect you'll see in this film. Now the corn-eating champ is being accused of murder.
So tell me again what happened here.
Kind of want to spend a little time with Susan,
So in other words, you made a pass at her. She didn't like it. She got pissed off. You got too aggressive, and then she fought off. By the way, your brother, where is he?
He's accused of murder of, wait, what was her name?
Susan Blake was a beautiful, well-loved woman in these parts.
That's right. What was her profession?
She was a librarian, for God's sakes.
Yeah, sure she was. While it seems evident that this woman was attacked by some sort of animal, probably a shark, which, doesn't make sense, the detective arrests him anyways. And he also tells the person who's been doing a terrible tape job this entire time that the cornfields will remain open because, they make too much money doing this. Because, cornfields are insanely profitable here. But hey, it's Kentucky. It's probably all they do.
Right? Shark scarecrow. Huh.
Oh, by the way, the corn eating champ never comes back after this. Okay, follow me here. We see two masked individuals sneak through the woods, knock some people out, avoiding traps so they can steal a shark item. That's 5 minutes of the film summed up for you right there. After they steal this item, an alarm goes off and they just blow up the entire place. There's no mention of this explosion at all later in the film. The two thieves meet up with this guy who looks like the dude from Law & Order, where he instantly double crosses them. And now we see a woman in the cornfield at night looking for Bigfoot?
Wait! Sasquatch! Come back!
Dude, clean your lens. Now we have another new character, which is this cop lady. She sees the shark killer guy from earlier and pulls him over because, obviously, look at this dude. He also does have several human body parts in the back of his car, so, it could be that as well. We then get an extended sequence of his arrest with the camera taking photos periodically. Kind of like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but not at all.
Where's your dildo, cop?
We even get a cameraman cameo, and he's got a pretty sick hat on. We meet back up with Jason Statham, who got the shark item, and he's about to pawn it off to the mob for money.
Certainly.
Now, I will say though, this mob does seem pretty cool. So the item that he gave them, he planted in a cornfield that they can go retrieve themselves, which made sense because obviously he doesn't want to just, give it to them and get it gunned down. I get that. However, when they send two of their henchmen to go get it, they get killed by the sharks in the cornfield. The mob leader is like, okay, you clearly double-crossed us, so we're going to double-cross you.
Impossible. I silenced them all.
By the way, if you are confused by everything I've explained so far, that's completely okay. Sharks of the Corn is not made for the simple-minded. It's not even made for the complex-minded. Or it's not really made for any minds at all. Now we get to my favorite set of the entire film, which is this police station. How do you know it's a police station? Well, look at all the wanted posters on the wall. It's clearly a police station. So the shark guy, which we find out that his name is Teddy, he tells the cop lady about all the stuff he's been doing, killing people and the shark goddess and all that stuff, which again makes a ton of sense.
Teddy also has the right to remain silent.
So she decides like, okay, that makes sense. We're gonna go to the cornfield and you're gonna show me stuff. Then we get an extended sequence of like 3 minutes following a car just driving around, and then they explain that, okay, her sister was the girl from earlier that this guy killed, and that she can be brought back if the shark goddess is summoned. And she's like, oh, okay, that sounds cool. And then they run into Jason Statham on the road, and they're like, hey, you want to come with us? Okay. Then he's also like, oh, by the way, I'm in the FBI. And they're like, oh, that's pretty cool. And then they knock him out because he was going to stop the sharks from being summoned. And now she's a bad person because she's like, well, hey, if I can summon my sister back to life, I can do that. She's like, okay, cool. Let's go to the cornfield and do that. Everything I just explained there happens over about 45 minutes, but I just condensed it down into that part, which probably made no sense at all, but you're caught up. Earlier in the film, we met this real estate agent. Turns out that he's the brother of the corn-eating champ, and he goes to the investigator's office to tell him, hey, my brother didn't do this because I got this evidence that there's sharks in the cornfield. Now, the investigator doesn't buy it because, obviously, but that all changes when we get to my favorite scene in the entire film.
Good throw.
Ray Arbogast, you're going to get Billy sunburned if you keep him out here much longer.
We meet this mom, dad, and son who are throwing a frisbee by the cornfield. Well, at least the dad and the son are. There's clearly some tension in their marriage, but all that doesn't matter because they have a loving son that they love dearly.
Shark!
So after this kid dies, this gets the attention of the investigator, the real estate brother, which by the way, his name is Jonathan, and this guy. Wait, who's this guy?
With every meal. We had a similar incident, Mr. Mayor.
Oh, that's the mayor. I mean, obviously, look at him. That's clearly a mayor.
They say... Spit it out already.
So someone reports in that there were sharks in the cornfield and that they're gonna have to close the cornfields, much to the chagrin of the investigator. So they decide to split up and try to find the sharks in the cornfield. And how did that work out for the investigator and the tape lady? Ah, I see. Not very well. How about Jonathan and the mayor? Okay, not very good either. And also, while this has all been going down, the mobsters from earlier have been tracking down the dude from Law & Order. They actually got a helicopter for one scene, which was pretty surprising to see. However, they couldn't afford a real headset though. This doesn't really matter though, because we get one of the most epic shots in the film. So now that most of our characters have died, Jonathan and Jason Statham, they meet up for the climax of the film where they're gonna take down the shark cult and save the day, right? Well, by the time they get to the middle of the field, the cop lady and the shark guy have actually already summoned the shark goddess demons or whatever, which don't really look like shark demons. They just look more like sea creature demons. But that's okay because Jonathan and Jason Statham are about to take them down. But then Bigfoot shows up. He just knocks the shit out of one of them, which I think is really funny. So then Bigfoot saves the day and everything goes back to normal. The shark demon doesn't get summoned and everything's all good. And the boys just take that as a victory and they claim it for themselves. And then the film ends with them going back to a car where they are jumped by some shark cultist or something. Finn. Now, this film scarred me. One of the issues with this film, of the many that there is, problem is it's really long. It's over 100 minutes long, which is way too long for any film to be if it's, called Sharks of the Corn. So would I recommend this film to you? For entertainment, maybe. There's a little bit of something to get out of this film. For the sake of adding value to your life, no, I would not recommend this film. But if that's not enough, here are some other films that I almost covered. Toxic Shark, Atomic Shark, 90210 Shark, Piranha Sharks, Sharks in Venice, Shark Kill, Sharksman, Zig and Sharko, Cruel Jaws, Shark Exorcist, Robo Shark, Ouija Shark, Shark, just Shark. House Shark, Sharkula, Virus Shark, Sharkenstein, Raiders of the Lost Shark, Sharkensaw Women's Prison Massacre, which, okay. Ouija Shark 2, Two-Headed Shark, Three-Headed Shark, Five-Headed Shark, Six-Headed Shark, Mega Shark vs. Mecha Shark, Sky Sharks. This is a film where scientists find out that Nazis were creating sharks who could fly to win World War II. And you could probably understand why they probably lost, because they thought that was actually going to win them the war. Planets of the Shark, Shark Tale. I mean, there are just too many shark films out there that if I spent my life doing this, if I spent every waking moment watching shark films with my entire life, I would just go crazy. Another film I looked at was called Shark Attack 3 Megalodon, I believe, which it didn't look as bad as the other films, but the only reason I mention it is because it's got one of my favorite scenes of all time. And I actually was going to cover two other films, being Avalanche Shark and Shark Exorcist. This film just fried my brain too much that I couldn't comprehend any other shark films. I did start to watch Shark Avalanche, and I actually did have high hopes that the film was going to be better until I heard the very first line of dialogue.
Dude, is it weird that signs like this give me a hard on?
Maybe someday I'll cover these films, but right now my brain is just melded with corn. There's just corn in my brain. Anyways, thank you for watching this video. This is that's Sharks of the Corn for you. If this quick little video made you interested in watching Sharks of the Corn, go watch it. You can find it on the internet. I don't recommend it, but it is out there for you. Anyways, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys later.